Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
They have the power. We have the numbers now. It's all just a constant illusion of control. They break us like horses.
And they can tell us we're crazy. And we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet.
Everything you knew was a goddamn lie. Would you up and explode like it's the 4th of July? Possessed by perfection in this land, if you're awake, you're the enemy. Every day a new deception. Pick your scene and take direction. And on a search to connect. But I don't wear a mask and I have no regret. Down on your knees, you don't look so tall. Open your eyes and the empire falls. Don't you step out of line. Don't you step out of line. And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. We are happy to have you. Today, I want to talk about, let's see here, what's the date today? June 24th. There's a high likelihood we're going to talk about John McAfee. To those of you who don't know that name, you probably do because it is the extremely annoying software that pops up on your brand new computer for a free 30-day trial, which you promptly delete and then go and get Norton antivirus, I would assume. At least that's how I do it. It is such a weird story, and I'm going to get to it, obviously, because that's kind of what I do. Now, the podcast itself, and I've said this 1,000 times, the podcast itself stems from mindset, motivation, getting started, working towards your goals, achieving these things. Believe it or not, this is what this podcast is all about. Sometimes we go and talk about other things. But at the root of all of this, the point of the fact of the matter is you're in control. You're in charge of what you're doing. You're in charge of outputting what you're taking in. So what you take in is imperative to creating what you're putting out, which is, one of those things where I'll say 1,000 times over, be very careful what you allow to be your truth. With regards to John McAfee, he apparently, and I'm doing air quotes, ladies and gentlemen, killed himself in prison upon news that he was being deported to the U.S. He was in prison in Spain, and apparently he was arrested in Spain. And the story goes, he was arrested in Spain over tax evasion charges in the U.S. So in Spain, they grabbed him. So goes the story. Put him in a holding cell and left him there until he could be quote unquote extradited to the U.S. Now he's been on the lam. Call him Mint Jelly because he's been on the lam. Gosh, I am tacky. And he is notorious for being a quote unquote whistleblower and a fact giver and a this, that, and the other thing in the ethos of this particular storyline. Well, this is a first. I'm breaking in on myself. I was just in the process of wrapping up that episode, almost getting ready to upload it, and a friend of mine posted this thing that I absolutely have to add to this episode. So I've never done it before, but this is kind of funny. I get to break in on my own self, breaking news as I'm recording this live. It's not breaking news. It just goes to show a little bit more about what I was talking about. Now, I don't know where I'm going to put this in the episode, so I'm not going to say too much today at this moment in time. But this clip is going in. This is some crazy stuff. This is John McAfee himself and quite possibly a little bit of the information that he was sharing with the people that may have, quote unquote, got him suicided.
The deep state is a conspiracy theory it's defined as the people within the U.S. government and military who are in secret control of government policy. Secret? Please, people. The deep state is those people within the U.S. government that are career employees that cannot be fired by people that we elect by the Congress or the president. There are the FCC, the CIA, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the IRS. Are these people in control? Can they enact laws? Fuck yes. They're called regulations. For every law that Congress passes, and we elect Congress to pass our laws, there are 20 regulations enacted by federal agencies that have far more impact on our lives than anything Congress can possibly pass. Is there a deep state? Yes. Can we fire these people? No. Can presidents fire them? No. It's designed that way so that political parties and political interests cannot affect the deep state. Do you understand the nightmare of our situation, people? I'm sorry. It's not secret. It's as open as anything could be. In the past, since 1975, 200,000 regulations have been passed by our federal agencies, encompassing 800,000 pages of fine print. People, it is no secret. It is as open as it can be. The deep state does control America. Wake up, people, please. God, use some common fucking sense. Thank you.
Well, that was the man himself. And, you know, let me just say this right now, in case there's any censor bots listening to this. That was for entertainment purposes only and does not represent the feelings or beliefs of the Mental Mastery Alliance program in any way, shape, or form. I can't believe it. So apparently there was a dead man switch that was initiated upon his quote unquote suicide. But this again goes into more of what I'm talking about in this episode. So I can't say too much more about that here, but, and again, this clip, putting this in here is probably going to get this episode pulled. So, and it sounds stupid for me to say that. I'm not like a fear monger. That's not fear bullshit. I just hope that it doesn't prevent me from being, you know, pushed out there for people to see, because it's really cool. The stuff that's going on right now, it's not good. It's not bad. It's not dangerous. We're not ruining America. We're waking up to a world that has always existed. Unfortunately, the powers that be, they pull a lot of the strings and they deem what we're allowed to and what we're not allowed to see. So censorship is in full swing, always has been. It's more prevalent now that certain things are the way they are, but those things became the way they are over time. I mean, I can't put my finger on it, but this whole thing is just, it's Hollywood's movie playing out as if it's the news. This is all scripted. It's all crazy. It's all chaotic. It's all scripted. It all is right here. So let's just say this then, back to your regularly scheduled podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. So he gets extradited, quote unquote, or he's about to get extradited, and then he kills himself after adamantly saying, I will never, ever commit suicide. Never will I ever, ever commit suicide. John McAfee is flat out on record. Not only that, he's tattooed it on his arm. So the fact that he did this, right, quote unquote, did this, is almost like a very in-your-face glitch in the Matrix. However you want to describe this. I mean, the quote unquote running joke of certain people, quote unquote, suiciding other people is I mean, entertaining to say the least. It's just a really weird possibility. But it's only weird based on what? On what we know. But what do we know? We know whatever they told us we know. And then our ego steps up and says, no, sir, I know everything. But we really don't. And when we have the ability to step out of our own way, we can really start asking some serious questions. So I don't know what this is. And people approach me. You would be surprised at the amount of people that want to talk about conspiracies with me are. Again, I view conspiracies as an opportunity to address what you think you know about yourself. And if you can change what's happening out there, everything that you permanently believed is up for debate. It's up for question. When things like this happen continuously and you don't ask any questions, what are you supposed to do? Again, we can parlay this into the vaccine. I can't talk about it. I can't put, it's the weirdest thing in the world. I can't put that word in my show title, vaccine, or I'll get pulled or blocked or changed. You'll notice that some of my shows, or if you, I don't know if you would notice, but we're at episode like 150 or something like that. But there's only like, I think 136 that are, if you look at the side notes of how many episodes we've done, it says 136, even though we're listed at 150. So I knew of the first few episodes that they pulled from us, but I don't even know what the rest of them are. Like, we've lost like 10 or 15 episodes, and I don't even know. I'd have to go through it all to find out which ones they are. They don't tell you anymore. They just take your stuff. So this whole freedom of speech thing, which is another neat little segue. Bill C-10 was passed in the Canadian House of Parliament at 1:30 in the morning. We can't get these guys to do anything, yet they can pass this bill at 1:30 in the morning. Like, there's people in there, right? So this is also another story. Now you're going to hear people say, well, it hasn't passed in the House yet, so we're still okay. You know what? It might get squashed, quote unquote, squashed in the House. But first off, anything getting passed at 1:30 in the morning is bullshit. The fact that this bill has to be out there is bullshit. The idea that anyone, anywhere is designed to protect us from the words of somebody else is bullshit. It is freedom of speech being crushed and quashed. It is a slow burn. Now, what's going to happen, in my opinion? Nothing. They're going to pass this bill, and you're going to see a ton of people argue and be all up in arms, and you're going to see a bunch of people agitated. You're going to see this agitation agitate more people. And you're going to see a whole bunch of things going on, like, oh my God, I can't believe this, that, and the other thing. Right? And then you're going to see people say things like, well, we're going to get banned and we're going to get blocked and people in the States aren't going to be able to see us because it's going to be like communist China and we can't get this and we can't get that. Truth of the matter is, China doesn't have things like WhatsApp. I don't even know if they have Facebook, or if they have, or if they have a Facebook that attaches to the rest of the world. I don't know all of that stuff because I don't know. Right? So if you're one of those people listening to my show going, this guy's got to have all the answers, I don't have all the answers. I'm just here to ask some questions or to point some things or to shine some lights. I mean, come on. In my life, I'm going to do the best I can to get the answers that I need. But I am not here to force feed answers into people that want to say things like show links, show proof. I'm asking questions, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. And it's always these episodes that spark the ire. There's always somebody out there. It's almost like the bots. When you start talking about the heavy shit, and we haven't done a heavy shit episode in a long time. This stuff for many, many good reasons, because the last time we were broadcasting on this note and on these topics, we got literally shut down. Becoming the Free with my business partner, my buddy, the podcast that we were running on the side for over a year got wiped off the face of the earth, just gone. I've never seen this before. So now this show is a little bit more protected, a little bit more secure. We're hosting our own show. Things are a little bit different, but the episodes themselves can be erased and can be rejected, which is why the headline of this one is just going to be, I don't know. I don't even know what it's going to be, really. It's going to be something. But when we trail back to this Bill C-10, and if you're not familiar with it outside of Canada, ladies and gentlemen, look it up. Canadian Bill C-10. If you have any interest. If you don't, I'm not telling you how to live your life. You don't have to look it up. You can do whatever you want. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Send a selfie. See what's going on. it's a weird spot to be in, which is a very, very recurring statement on this show. Bill C-10 will usher in new changes. But I think what it should do is make more people aware of their current standings. Much like COVID made people aware of their limitations or their perceived freedoms, right? We all thought we lived in a free society until overnight they're like, nope. And Ontario, for example, we're literally just coming out of the lockdown now. And I know this is funny because you guys listening in Florida, you make up a massive part of my audience. And you've got to be sick of listening to me talk about fucking COVID, right? But it is very much prevalent right now in this day, and right now, right at this very moment in time. We're talking about maybe coming out of the first phase of opening up, right? You guys are, wide open. Florida, Texas, just some amazing stuff. Even Quebec is opening right up, right? Any state that was going to be like, you know what, fuck you, we're not going to put up with your bullshit, they opened it right away. They're like, well, we're not going to dick with these people. And what that tells me is that we're in a spot right now where they can literally manipulate all the local media. Therefore, we get what we get, and we think, oh, whatever, I don't watch TV, so they can't manipulate my local media. But what's actually happening is your Google searches are specific to your VPN. So even when you think that you're not being monitored, tricked, watched, whatever, you are redirected and interjected. Which brings me to another point. And this is going to sound peculiar considering what I just said. Nobody is out to get you. So this is something that that really fucks with people, right? So all of these things are in place. This VPN, this stuff like John McAfee killing himself. Come on, that's bullshit, right? It's all bullshit. But did he kill himself, or is that part of the story? People are like, no, he didn't kill himself, right? But do they think much past that? So what does that mean? So where is he? What's he doing? This parlays into all of the other major stories. It's a piece. To put it bluntly, Hollywood has cannibalized itself. And a lot of us don't really give a shit about whatever the fuck it was Hollywood was doing. We don't care anymore. The idea of watching a movie, it's like it's lost its magic. So what's happening is Hollywood is creating the narrative now. And that doesn't mean like guys from Warner Brothers or this, that, and the other thing. Like back in the day, there were video houses, movie houses, but don't get it twisted, because the television, from the day it was conceived and put into your home, was designed to tell a vision. Its main purpose was to brainwash you into believing in what a society is. Because a society is only as big as you can see. And for the longest time, we couldn't see anything other than what was right in front of us. Then we could hear some stuff on the radio. And then we could see some stuff on TV. And then we felt like we were part of this quote unquote global community. And we thought that everyone was in it together. And we've got all these beliefs, and our entire belief system from the ground up has been programmed into us. So yes, I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm going to bring this back to Hollywood. Hollywood has the gear. Hollywood has the studios. Why do you think that Jeff Bezos got a massive bailout, took that $10 billion bailout and bought a movie studio? It's all an illusion. Money's an illusion. The hands of God are... Think about this. If you had Jeff Bezos money, would you not be Batman? Would you not be like solving world hunger and doing all this other stuff? Like, what the fuck needs all that money? Who needs to be that guy that has all that? Who cares? Who cares? Anyone that's made over six figures realizes that for the most part, it's all hands off from there. You can start having fun. You can start experiencing things. Everything's on autopilot for the most part. Oh, it's not necessarily on autopilot. It's a little bit different. Now, back to Hollywood. Hollywood sucks and nobody cares about the movies. I mean, the movies are funnier now. To jump again, guys, if you haven't seen that Wonderland or Hollyland, when it's Nicolas Cage, basically it's Nicolas Cage in a Chuck E. Cheese's killing these animatronic things that are like possessed by people. Man, I'm telling you, it is a good movie. He doesn't. I don't even think he speaks one line in it, and it's pointless. But thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. It's an hour and 20 minutes of my life, and I'm like, you know what? That was a nice break. So, this is a really long-winded way to tell a story. Thank you for sticking with me, ladies and gentlemen. Hollywood's dead. Nicolas Cage killed it with his amazing acting. So, what's happening? All the writers, all the powers that be, all the people are they probably always have been, but it's very prevalent now. The stories have come off the small screen and they've gone onto the new screens. So all of the writing and all of the stuff that you're doing, or all the stuff that we're seeing, is all scripted. This is all of the news, all of it, everything, every last ounce of everything is handed to you. It's fake. It's scripted. And the funny thing about that is people are like, no. I'm like, they're going to sprinkle in like a cat story stuck in a tree just to be like, hey, here's the local guy standing on a street that you may know, looking for a cat for a lady that nobody's ever heard of. And 10 minutes beforehand, they put the cat in the tree in the first place. Right? So even those local bullshit stories are scripted. But what's happening is they're tying it all together. So everything is tying in. Like if you really start looking back at the presidents and how they're all connected, it's not that far-fetched of an idea to realize that we've been playing they've been playing some game. And it's not, like I said, nobody's out to get you. So it's not like they've been playing some game with you because, nobody's paying attention to you. You're the only person that's ever been paying as much attention to you as you've ever been paying. And we think about ourselves and our ego says, I can do this. I can control this. I have control over these other people in my life and this other stuff. And this is where the majority of anxiety and depression comes from. The belief that we have control in a world that's been handed to us, which is total bullshit. Therefore, everything that we think we're doing is based off the lie that they handed us. Therefore, we have always been askew. We are a screw in a hole that is slightly off. Sure, it works. Sure, it locks down, but we're all tight, tense, and buggered up. Truth of the matter is, once you unlearn all of that, once you literally start unlearning and start putting things aside, you can put yourself in a better spot. You can put yourself in a more comprehensive understanding of where you are and what you're doing and what you do and don't have control over. It's a strange spot. I keep sounding like I'm a broken record over here. But we have stories, like I said, the C10, where you can't talk about this stuff. And it's probably a matter of time before this thing gets pulled down, or at least gets de-pushed. Because the same people that are pushing all this stuff out, the same technologies that are allowing you to listen to this, belong to the quote-unquote powers that be. And if I'm going to show you a free way to think and a way that's going to create a happier version of yourself, then I'm the threat. And I even put that in the new intro, or not the new intro. The intro is just forever changing depending on what's going on. But that line's in there, You're the bad guy if you're awake. So all of this stuff and all of these, even music, you can go back to the stuff that you listen to. I mean, listen to any Rise Against song, or like put on an album and just like wait, or anything from like Silverchair, and you just hear all these things, this dystopian future that is basically what they're talking about right now. So all this stuff recorded like 20 years ago is talking about right now. Are we in the end of times? Is this a doomsday thing? No, fuck. This is the end of the illusion. Would have to be the best way I can put this. It is the end of the illusion. It is, we are facing now a global truth, or an energetic rising. Some will say this is the division between the fifth dimension and the third dimension. And it's been professed, or whatever that word is, for a long time, where you will ascend. And what does ascension look like? Nobody really had a thing on it, They made all these movies about it, and The Rapture is another one, But what's really happening, I think, is that those that have, quote unquote, a five-dimensional conscious, those that are aware, those that can see, most of you listening right now, are at war with those that can't. And you don't need to be. because it's no longer about trying to make people see things. It's about communicating with others and finding your flock in the interim. It's about finding who you need to find. So when we have 1,000 proofs everywhere about everything, and when you really look into the story, and it's like so hard to even say, because everything that you're trying, or everything that I'm trying to explain right now, is rooted in the Matrix. It's rooted in the third dimension. It's rooted in the stories that I was told. So trying to speak fifth dimensional talk, or trying to profess this era, this new energy, this essence, not new energy, but this awakening to an energy. It's like learning a new language. Every time you're thinking the new language, you hear the new word and you're like, oh, that means this. Oh, that means this. But the truth is it doesn't, because it's a new language. It's a new spot. It's a new place that you're in. The bibliothèque and the library, yeah, it's the same word, but it doesn't mean the same thing. One's French, one's English. So you don't correlate it back. When you're beginning to learn, that's how you do the dance. This means this, this means this, this means this. And then eventually it's just this, 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 this. And then eventually you're just fully speaking the language. That's how it plays out. So we are tied into the third dimension. The fifth dimensional risers are tied into the third dimension, which is the crossover right now, the fourth dimensional bridge. And this could just be me, spewing poppycock, but it's what makes sense to me. As we're learning the new speak, we're correlating it to the old speak until we no longer need the old speak, and we're stepping up and we're just speaking the new. Because I watch the news now, I watch the stories now, I see the John McAfee thing, and I mean, I think these guys are all actors. I think the whole purpose of it is dissension, because you look at the quote unquote conspiracy theories. And I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off when I say this. They need things to be. And then what does he post? I saw somebody, I don't know, don't quote me because I don't know 100%, but McAfee's official Twitter, why was he allowed to keep a Twitter and I'm banned from Twitter, right? Questions. So his thing was, it's just post a giant Q. Like what? Like, I mean, am I going to get this episode pulled because I just said that? I don't know, but I can't put it in the title. That's for sure. That's the big one. There are so many censorship things that people don't want to talk about or don't remember. When we talk about, again, back to Bill C-10, there's so many things out there. Like, it's like the internet can already just wipe out whatever you want. But we were led to believe once it's on the internet, it's there forever. False. The internet is completely manipulated. We think the internet is some big global thing where we can find whatever we want. Fuck no. The internet is literally one thing where you can have a million ideas, but you're only going to be able to find four to five things about them, and then you get satiated. It's like that story. Like, nobody goes to page 200 of Google, and even if they did, what the fuck's over there? And then you've got DuckDuckGo, which is another thing that we're allowed to use, right? Another thing that we're allowed to experience. I say all this stuff, and this isn't a doom and gloom episode. It certainly is not, because what actually is happening, and when I say this again, I tie it back in. Nobody's out to get you. These people, these things, everything we just talked about, they're not fucking with you. They exist as contrast to self. The entire story, from dead asleep to wide awake, from your perspective, was then, is now, and will always be designed to wake you up. Designed to get you to where you need to be. We entered into a game, is the best I can figure it. And everything that's happening is our clues. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, this, hey, that. So the entirety of everything that we're experiencing is designed to help you think through things, wake up to certain levels. Why, when you start asking questions, you can't stop asking questions. And then when you like come out of a window and you hit a plateau and you're like, oh, this must be what it is now. And then you realize that that's, just another story. There's so many things out here that have so many holes. Like, why would anyone say the things that they say? Why would anyone contradict themselves so flippantly? Why is Joe Biden the president? I mean, not fuck Trump, fuck Biden, all that sort of stuff, but legitimately, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself, why the absolute fuck is Joe Biden the president? Right? And it's not because, we're going to place him with Kamala. Like, every single thing that we think is the answer is just screwing us up even more. And it's such a fascinating thing. This man can't form a sentence. As far as I know, The walls are still around the Parliament building or your government buildings. None of it's making any sense. The media was all over Trump about this stuff, and now they don't talk. I couldn't even tell you, man, it was soundbite after soundbite after soundbite with Trump as president. Now it's like Joe Biden's the greatest. We're all blah, blah, blah. Nobody's asking any questions. There's no more hard-hitting punches. There's no more sound bites. There's no more sound clips. Nobody cares. Right? So it's the absurdity of it all. And inch by inch, piece by piece, step by step, people are dropping off. People are just going away. People don't care. Right? There's still a huge conglomerate of people that are like, yeah, politics and bullshit, war, fighting, death, murder. But the numbers are dwindling. We are all coming together, coming to terms with the bullshit. And it has to become substantially more absurd for us to be like, yes, I see it now. Yes, I see it now. And a lot of it, like I said, nobody's coming after you, because a lot of it, like once you are awake, once you hit a certain level, you realize you sort of step back and you're sort of watching a game unfold. I've used the game reference before, but you back out and you're watching a game unfold. And at this point, all of your anxiety is gone, because you realize that the anxiety was just your true self living a lie. And it was a lie that felt so real because it was everywhere. It was all around you. The house, the school, the wife, the white picket fence, the 2.5 kids, the fancy car, the blah, 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 material, everything of this world. It's all bullshit. It's amazing bullshit, though. That's the truth. We live in something that is so cool that we are all having an experience right now. We are all experiencing kind of the same thing, but 100% different. Every single one of us has a different opinion of what's going on. Some are similar, some are this, some are that. All of it's based on the experience. It's how millions of us can live in one spot and have a completely unique experience. It's fascinating. The intricacies of where we are is beautiful, is stunning. The story is fantastic. The story is so convoluted. Who the fuck? Why do we care about television? Why do I fucking care about taxes? Taxes is just theft anyway. It's just another step, another illusion, another part of the game. But man, oh man, when you step out of the game and you get back in, like you get to watch. You get to watch yourself play your character in the game. You see things differently. You know, there's a lot of people out there. You put this in front of somebody who watches the television right now. You play them this episode, I'm going to sound like a crazy son of a bitch. But there's the insults for that too. Anyone that thinks outside the box, anyone that thinks freely is the bad guy. Because while you're dead asleep in the Matrix, you've been taught how to think, what to think. You've been taught systematically. Think about your testing in school. It was how well can you remember the bullshit we fed to you? It wasn't how well can you freely think and deduce problems. It was here as a fucking garbage story that we are shoveling down your throat from the time that you're an infant, and we are going to test you on how well you can remember. And we're going to shame you if you don't remember well. You're going to have to fucking do it again. Fail. Do grade 3 again. Because I don't remember your bullshit? Fuck. Right? So anyone that had problems in school, junior school, high school, whatever, you're probably leading the world right now because you're outside of the box. And everyone that was amazing in school, and everyone that probably has a fancy house and this, that, and the other thing, and all the sports cars, and these people are living miserable lives. A lot of them are. And I'm not going to speak blindly about all that because ignorance is bliss too. So is there frustration? Yes. When you first step out, yes, there is. And when you're starting to step out, yes, there is, because you don't understand what's going on. Neo says in The Matrix, why do my eyes hurt? Morpheus, it's because it's the first time you're using them. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Why do those movies exist? Why are the crumbs dropped if we weren't supposed to wake up, if the bullshit wasn't supposed to be revealed? Why would we ask questions? Why would they allow it to be? Whoever they are, right? And then when you realize that there is no they, no one is after you. Because the entirety of all of this, every single thing that I've just talked about, every single thing that's being talked about, every single thing that's happening in the world right now, you created. You created all of this so that you could wake up from all of this and become who you're supposed to become and enjoy the experience that you created before you got here. It's a beautiful, systematic piece of absolute awesomeness. I don't know how else to be more, out there. And we have a lot of listeners. We have a lot of listeners right now. But the fact of the matter is, the truth of this whole thing, you guys are all listening, you guys are all experiencing this, but what's actually happening, what's tangibly happening, is I'm sitting in my office watching my voice inflection go up and down on the recording device as I'm just talking random gibberish into a microphone. Like, it's absurd what I'm doing, but it's amazing because I have the opportunity to do it. And that's something that really resonates. So does the anxiety go away? Yeah. Does the depression go away? Yeah. Does your money get higher? Does your levels go up? Yes. Because while you're in that system too, you're like, I'm desperately trying to make money. Stop trying to make money. Just start trying to exist and be and create. And it's unreal because when you're on that journey, you start finding paths. You go from what if it doesn't work out to it's going to work out. I just have to keep sticking with it. Right? So here we've got an episode where I've tied all kinds of amazing conspiracies into all kinds of amazing fifth dimensional bullshit, into all kinds of amazing motivational bullshit. And all of it is amazing and it's total bullshit, but it's totally amazing. Right? Because everything here is just another thing to do between sleeps. Whatever. And there's another thing too. When you go to bed, your consciousness goes off in dreams. Your body takes a nap, but you don't. Whoever you are, Here's a question for you too, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to leave you with this. If you remove your name and your title, how would you describe who you are without using your name or your title? Ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.